Hey guys, this is Kenny from LearnHowToProsper.com, and I want to share with you a realization I had probably about a year and a half ago. And I had this funny thing happen, and it was all based on a book that I read probably about almost maybe 15 years ago, 15 to 16 years ago. I was on this trip and I got this book, and the book is called, let's see if I can move that out of the way, The Automatic Millionaire, a powerful one-step plan to live and finish rich. And it is as simple as one step. And that step is, are you ready? Drum roll. You can go read that book if you'd like to, but the simple step was, drum roll please. What you do is automate savings. Okay. Life altering, right? But here's the way that they recommended that you do this. In essence, you would take some portion of your regular income and partition that off and set up a savings account, and every month just automatically send that money there. And he recommended that you would put it in some obscure new account that you never look at or thought about. And I actually did that. I remember thinking at the time, I'm like, it's not going to matter that much. And I can't remember how much I was putting into it. Maybe it wasn't even that much, maybe a few $100s or something. I do remember that I upped it a couple of times over that first year. And I actually did forget about it. It wasn't in the main side of things. And I want to say it was probably almost 10 years later. I'm looking through accounts, and this I'd set up on a separate account. So when I went, and I can't even remember, it was somewhere in this credit union, and I got this alert about this other account and updating the security on that. So there's some kind of a security, update the password or something like that. So I went and accessed this account, and it was like the happiest day ever, because there were thousands of dollars that had accumulated in that account. And what the realization I had was that we do this already with so many consumer items that we purchase. Whether that's something you put on a credit card, it could be clothes or a television set or something like that. And of course, they're going to set up an automatic payment plan with you. And they're not dumb. These people know what it takes. And I don't know if you've ever done the math on what that actually ends up costing after finance charges and everything else, but it adds up in a hurry. And the whole idea of this book was that you can put the same principle into effect, but set up an account where that savings is going away every month for your benefit, right? So it absolutely worked, and then we've done that ever since. In fact, we've been able to increase the amount that's stowing away every month, and that is something that led to a number of very beneficial things. One is we paid off all of our cars. So we didn't, not that we have a lot of cars, but I'm just saying I had a couple of cars, paid off the loans on those pretty quickly. And then we were able to pay for the entirety of our mortgage in about 11 years. And it was all based on the same principle. So in essence, the mind shift is, instead of taking and allowing consumerism to take hold, and consumerism is nothing more than allowing your yearnings to exceed your earnings. And there's this interesting phenomenon that happens when you buy something, right? There's this emotional kind of anticipation. Sometimes there's even a euphoria that comes with buying something in the moment. But then you forget about it, and it doesn't mean that much. But what continues to happen even after you've purchased that thing, and what continues to happen even after you've arrived at that place where it doesn't even mean that much to you anymore, is that you continue to make payments on that all the way through. So you've got to really get a hold on your yearnings. And there's kind of an interesting phenomenon with wanting stuff, is that the anticipation of having it is about 100 times better than actually having it. Actually, this happened to me when I bought a brand new truck. I'd never had a new car before, and back in, I want to say it was 2004, I bought a brand new Dodge Ram truck. And I'm not going to lie, for the first month or two, it was like phenomenal, because I went from driving an old beat up Nissan Pathfinder that would expel more exhaust into the cab than it did outside. Probably killed some brain cells. I think some might agree with that. But so it was better than that car for sure, but it's amazing how quickly that fades. So keeping your yearnings, right, well within your earnings is really critical. Now, there's a whole lot that could be said about this, but I just want to, encourage the thought or the idea that you pretend like you make a purchase for something that you really, really want and that you're super excited about. And instead of actually getting the thing, you take that money and put it away in a secret account and just let it accumulate. Just try it. Just that one thing, one step plan. And that one step has led to us being 100% debt-free. And I'll never forget the day that we paid off the last payment on our mortgage and realizing that I didn't owe anyone a penny. I felt an immense freedom. It's like it gave me so many options, right? Because now you're not held down to the weight of all this consumer debt. You accumulate these things that seem like they're going to bring a lot of peace and happiness, but they don't. I cannot tell you how many people on my street I've seen buy these humongous RVs, right? These big, you know what I'm talking about, the big massive deal. It's got maybe the tandem on there. It's got the big, the big punch out, a couple windows. Sometimes it's a fifth wheel like thing, right? And it sits there rotting, getting sun destroyed on the side of their house all but about 2-3 weekends of the year. Now, they're probably paying anywhere between $40K, right, for something like that, plus maybe less, but if you buy them brand new, same with the boat, right? And these things, and you could just go rent those, and that's something that Tracy and I have done. When we want to go RVing, we just rent a couple for that weekend. It feels great, and I can always get the latest model, and I enjoy the experience, and then after I just turn it back in and done deal. So I wish everyone could get this feeling of what it really is to be debt-free, because then you can have many more options available to you, including the employment that you do. Because a lot of times people, they earn a certain salary, and this always happens, right? Like when you first start in a job, who knows? I remember my first job, I made $27,000 a year as a recruiter for a university, right? And and it continued to go up and up and up, and usually as it goes up like this, so does your spending. Like whereas before, your spending's down here, but then you start to make a little bit more and a little bit more, and pretty soon your spending and your income just stay right in line with one another, and so you never have any margin, right, in your budget. Now, obviously, if your salary is going up like this, and you keep your expenses kind of like this, then over time, this margin continues to grow. And I know this is it's like duh, but you'd be surprised how many people don't get this. I mean, having been a counselor, I've worked with many, many people that have come to me completely destitute and just drowning in debt. And this principle is very foreign to them. It's like, well, but they told me when I went to get my mortgage that I could get more. I could get more house, and so I did. And you could get the biggest house. You can get a 10,000 square foot house, and after 4 months, it just feels like a house, right? A big house, but it's just a house. But what doesn't change is the fact you have to pay for it forever. So one of the ways to break out of that cycle is to take a big chunk of your money and shovel it off into an account, forget about it. That's what you do with all your other bills. I mean, there are people who are paying on credit cards right now. They're paying on a credit card that they accumulated debt on like 10 years ago. They don't even remember what they bought. They have no idea what they bought. I've asked people. I remember working with this couple one time. They were $165,000 in debt from student loan debt, and they were using, the what was it called back then? Oh shoot, I can't remember now. I can't believe I'd ever forget it. But you get this it's not even a loan. You would get a grant. So you get these Pell Grants. That's what it is. So you get this Pell Grant, and the Pell Grant would, I don't know, it'd be something like maybe $1,000, $2,000, and they just take that and they just go blow it all on something. And of course, they didn't even remember what it was. And then they would use the student loan, to buy things like a car and clothes and maybe a vacation. We deserve it. We're gonna get away. Well, in the end, you're left without any memory of what you did or even how it felt when you did it. If you're lucky, maybe you do. And yet, you know what doesn't go away? The debt. It continues to grow at a high percentage every single day. Every single day. I mean, when I look back on that couple now and I was trying to work out different scenarios, and it wasn't hopeful. And the thing is, the government does not allow you, nor does it forgive you of student loan debt. Now, they're very excited about you getting a higher education, but what they're mostly excited about is the fact that you're in debt and that they're guaranteed to get that for as long as you live. So just keep in mind that there are powerful forces out there that are depending on the fact that a certain number of people will go into life-crushing debt. And that is a great topic for another day. So I'm not going to go into that today. So let me just recap by saying this. Just do one thing. One thing. Okay? And that is automate some savings. And go do it right now. Go and find out wherever your bank is. They can do this for you. When your check comes in, just take, if you can only start with $10, start with $10, right? If you can get it up to 50 or 100. I mean, look at one of your loans, one of your consumer debt loans right now, or one including credit cards, and just pretend like you bought something else that really mattered to you, right? Get all excited about it too. It's like, yes, finally. I got this lounger that I've always wanted. And then instead of having the lounger just sit in the same one that you have, you'll forget and it won't matter in a week anyway. But instead, you've got this cash, that's stored up there in the bank, right? So I hope you'll do it. That's the most pathetic bank ever. But I hope you'll do it. I hope you'll take me up on this. One thing, automate your savings. And I'll tell you, at the end of 1 year, go and take a peek. And the feeling that you have is going to be so much more euphoric and incredible and it lasts. It's a feeling that lasts. It's not like when you just go buy something and then it's gone. So there you go. I went a little bit long today, but I hope that you find some value in this. And if you do want this book, there's actually quite a few little nuggets in here that I would recommend to you if you want to read it. You can go ahead and grab it. The author, if I remember, David Bach is the name. Yeah. If you want that, you can click on the link in the description box, or if you're watching this on my blog, go ahead and do it there. By the way, you can see this and other videos and blog posts over at learnhowtoprosper.com. Okay? Well, thanks for taking a minute with me, and I hope to see you over there. Bye-bye.